What up, everybody? We are in the closing moments here of this matchup with New York. Gonna get a post-game show up and rolling here. We're at the 2-minute warning. Commanders are handling the Giants 21-6. I see a bunch of y'all popping up in the chat. Hang out with us in the chat when we officially start our post-game show. It's gonna be a fun one. How about Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt? I see some of y'all already in the chat talking about Bill. That 42-yard run that he had just now, that was the longest run that a Commander has had in quite some time. It was longer than anything that Brian Robinson was ever able to put forth when he was in Washington. There is something ironic about that. It's poetic almost about that. So I remember when we knew, all right, Brian Robinson's not going to be here anymore, right? It's preseason game, and then Chris Rodriguez starts with a 40-yard run. And you're like, all right, cool, that's preseason, it doesn't count. It's really nice to be able to see something like this, in a regular season game that actually matters. And he was just able to handle business and get into really almost put the game away. They still had to pick up a couple of first downs after that, or a couple of big plays after that. But Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, man, he has been a fun guy to watch. In game number 1, he's the team's leading rusher. It's very nice to see someone other than Jane Daniels be the leading rusher. I've been really, really thrilled with what I have seen so far. Giants are out of timeouts. It's a 2nd and 11 for Washington, so they're just going to run this bad boy. They're just going to run this bad boy down, and they're going to get to 1-0 to start the season. Pop off in the chat. Let us know your big takeaways. In about 25 minutes, we're going to give away some game balls. So if you got a game ball that you would like to give away, pop it in the chat. It's going to be fully interactive. We are live. We are interactive. It's Denton Day. You see Linnell jumping in here now. Pop us off in the chat. Big win. Big win.
Huge win, man. Huge win. I thought it was a dominating performance defensively. We talked about it all offseason. Them needing to get better stopping the run. You hold New York to under 300 yards of total offense. It was 3.2 yards a pop. Russell Wilson, 17 to 37, Denton.
Not good.
I mean, come on.
Not good.
This defense balled out in a major way. Super duper proud of them, man. I said it on Thursday on the Burgundy and Gold today that this defense has to take this contest personally, right? They're the clear Achilles heel of this football team. Can they catch up to the offense was the question. I mentioned it all week long. It was going to be clunky offensively. They only end up mustering 21 points, but you saw it in the first half kind of what they could be. I'm going to be critical of them here in the second half, though, man. I think the penalties and getting them behind the sticks, we talk about, how important that is for this group to continuously stay ahead of the sticks when you have holdings and hands to the face and things like that, puts you behind, and then Jaden Daniels has to be Superman. A couple of drops that we saw in here as well, but I thought the big takeaway for me offensively, one, Deebo Samuel as a traditional wide receiver. Hello. Like, that guy can play. And then this offensive line, clap it up for him, dude. I mean, just blowing people off of the football. I thought Cliff should have stayed with the run a little bit more. Got a little cute on some of these early downs, but I think you take it how you get it if you're Washington. That's a win that you'll take, and I think the Monday morning headline is just that. We'll take it, right? It's week
a win
one.
Is a win.
A win is a win. It's week 1. It's not going to look pretty. I wasn't looking for style points here today. They did the job. Just come away with a victory.
It's going to look really nice, I will say, offensively when Terry McLaurin's in football shape.
Yeah.
Because he really wasn't an impact today. He had 2 catches for 27 yards. He wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, but they very clearly weren't targeting him. For Deebo, though, to step up in the absence of Terry McLaurin is a massive relief, a massive breath of fresh air if you are Washington. And I don't know about you, Linnell.
Yeah.
You're watching it on one TV. I'm watching it on another TV. He didn't look fat to me.
No.
He didn't look
Didn't
fat.
look fat at all.
He didn't look washed. He looked good. Deebo Samuel looked really, really good. I would argue that he was the best player on the field offensively for Washington. Jaden was really good. Not his greatest game, I wouldn't say. But again, week 1, I would say Deebo was really, really good. I loved what I saw from him in this matchup for Washington. If you're just joining us, this is the official Burgundy and Gold post-game show with 106.7 The Fan and the Team 980. We're going to do this on social media every single week. So if you can't get your radio, you can come hang out with us. It's going to be fully interactive. So join us in the chat. We got the chat open. We're going to have some fun. If you want to give game balls away, now is the time to do so. With all the good that came from this, Linnell, there was a little that was bad. This team is still undisciplined. and the penalties that they were racking up over the course of this ball game. Moving forward, when you play teams that are good, because the Giants are not a good football team. We saw that. Yeah. Malik Neighbors looks like he's an absolute hell on the sideline for
he's a crybaby.
The Giants.
I'm be honest with you, he's a crybaby. And if I was a veteran on that team, I need to tell him whip his ass into shape. Stop crying and complaining when things don't go your way, you big ass brat. Jayden, get your boy, bro. I hate watching that because he's so talented.
Let him implode.
I hear that.
Implode
it's good for
he
us.
Comes here. We know he's going to make his way to D.C. at some point anyway. But listen to these penalties. 12 penalties for 89 yards.
Yeah.
If you're playing a competent team, that's going to be a much closer game. That's going to have a much closer finish. Because this was comfortable.
Yeah.
There was really, outside of the penalties that allowed New York to score, you might have shut them out. You might have skunked them. So this was really just about the penalties that allowed the Giants to put points up on the board.
Yeah, totally. And there are certain penalties we know that Dan Quinn can live with. I don't know if we'll have to go back and watch them, obviously, all on tape. But some of these got to be better. Jumping off sides. Dietrich Wise got the PS hands to the face call.
What was worse, I will say the hands to the face or that Bobby Wagner roughing the passer? Where he
hit him in his head. I get it.
He just palmed his head. He didn't hit him. He just put it there.
So here's the thing, right? When it comes to the penalties on defense, I think the play style was there. I think that's what Joe Witt Jr. and company care about more. They'll clean up the penalties. They ran and hit. Yeah. Like, that's who they are. They completely established themselves today. Like, what's going to be this team's identity? Well, up front, you beat the hell out of the Giants with their offensive line. And then defensively, you were the aggressor. You were constantly going downhill. I thought they played their ass off. I hate that. I love that the penalties, rather, are there because there's something to teach. Right? Yes. Normally, when you're watching the film and there's nothing for you to go over, there's no coaching points, it becomes more difficult for Joe Witt. They can coach up the penalties because everything else they did I thought was pretty good. Russell Wilson also stunk today.
He's not good.
That's the tough part. I want to see the coverage get a little bit better. There was some miscommunications, and you can't have those miscommunications coming up Thursday night against Jordan Love and company.
No, I actually did think the defensive backs played really well. You know, I saw some Marshall Lattimore on some of the defensive breakups, the pass breakups. I thought Mikey Sanders still was good. Will Harris was the best DB today. He can hit. He can fly around. He can hit. He is hunting for contact. I know there were a couple people that were upset when they decided to let go of Jeremy Chin to say, hey, you can go play somewhere else. They got one with Will Harris.
I had a question on it.
You had a question on it. It was a fair question because Chin played really well. But Will Harris, man, he is flying around. He just wants to take people's heads off.
Yeah.
That's it. And you got to be able to play within the rules. You know, you don't want to ruin a game by doing something like that later in the season. But I loved how much he loved to beat up on the Giants today.
Yeah, obviously, man. It was a really big win for this group. I don't want to downplay the fact that it is the Giants because it's week one. And I said it all week, man. I expected a rock fight. I think offensively, it's what I expected. Like, you didn't practice together at all this summer. So there were going to be mistakes. There were going to be issues. There are things to clean up on tape. I think from a play calling standpoint, I would have liked to see, and this is tough because he's a youngin that we want to see how much the body can withstand. Give me more Bill Merritt.
Oh, yeah.
Give me more Bill Merritt. Give me more runs on some of these early downs. I thought they got behind the sticks with the penalties and then some of the drops here. So I loved it. And I also loved this. I thought Jaden Daniels, we always cross our fingers because we're fans of this team. We saw Bobby Three Sticks. He protects himself. Loved the design runs. Loved him calling his own number, based off of play recognition of the front. I thought he was really good.
So we're going to get to some good stuff. There was one other thing that we need to discuss that was less good before we just start to get fully celebratory.
Yeah.
The timeout management was bad. Burning a timeout early in the second half, burning it in the fourth quarter. Now, thankfully, it didn't really mean anything, but the timeout usage was not good.
So here's the thing with some of the timeouts. One of them, Jaden, was like, don't call timeout, Cliff. I can get us lined up. And he called it anyway because they didn't want to take the penalty.
That's a family-friendly version of what he said, but yes, that is what he said.
So what happened then, the challenge ended up being unsuccessful. You lost a timeout on that. But yeah, it was interesting, man. I feel like every time they called timeout, it was a byproduct of either the play not coming in clean or dudes not being lined up properly. On the Debo touchdown, bro.
He's yelling at
Terry. Get set.
Just get set. Just stand there and get set. We are going to score here, and then they did. They needed that.
Yes. He was a leader all day long. Jaden was cussing people out all game.
He was.
I loved it.
But that drive in particular, I tweeted this, and you can follow us on Twitter. If you're watching us, you see it there, right? That's our Twitters. Follow us. Hang out with us. I tweet they needed a killer instinct drive or like a foot on the neck. You are not. We're gonna kill all hope. That was that drive.
Yeah.
Because it felt like they had opportunities in the third quarter to do that. You could have killed the Giants' hope very early on to the point where you're seeing Jackson Dart at the end of the game. And I'm sure that if the Giants fans of WFAN is doing an example of this or like a version of this, they're crying about the fact that Jackson Dart was not put in the football game. Understood. They could have put him in the football game earlier if they just put the boot to the neck and ended it.
Yeah.
But that drive with Debo's touchdown was necessary.
Yes.
You needed to do that from a confidence standpoint and then just to derail any bit of hope that New York would have possibly had.
Yeah, man. And I just thought to see what's happening on the practice field translate to the game field feels good. Him as a traditional wideout, I think, if he didn't have a couple of drops, he may have had 100 yards today.
Yeah.
So I thought he was really good, getting separation. Looked like he's got real burst and juice. Man, Jaden Daniels, I keep going back to him because he makes you right more times than not. He wasn't perfect, though, today. We were talking about during the half.
And it's almost exciting because you think, all right, well, he's going to get way better.
Oh, my video upload.
Like, this is just him first week of the season. He wasn't great week one. No one's if you're playing your best game week one, you suck.
Yeah.
Like, you suck. If your best game is week one, that's a bad season, and it's not good. So his performance, though, was significantly better than it was this time last year, which I think is real big progress. I liked what I saw from Jaden. Obviously, there were some throws to Debo that you would have loved to have back. There was that throw to Terry that you would have, not – when I say love to have back, I mean, like, literally 6 inches back, like 4 inches back in some instances. That Terry throw maybe like a foot back. And his numbers, which were good numbers, are vastly better. And the score, which is a good score, is vastly better.
100%. If we're going to be critical here, I don't know who to put it on here. I expected the young pup to have some struggles about Josh Connolly, but I thought Cliff and company, I got to go back and watch it. So this is just me speaking before watching the game twice. Left him on the island a little too many, one too many times for my liking, is how I would put it. Brian Burns is a damn pro.
He's their best defensive player.
And,
or he was today. I think Dexter Lawrence, in the grand scheme of things, is the best defensive player. You didn't see a lot from Dexter Lawrence for New York.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. They put him on an island a little bit, and that is a little bit alarming when you consider who is going to be operating in front of him next week on Thursday. It's going to be Micah Parsons. They're going to put Micah Parsons over Josh Connolly. So you just got to be prepared for that. You just got to understand, hey, we're going to need to make sure that everything is kosher. The I's are dotted and the T's are crossed to make sure that we can allow Josh Connolly to not be barbecue chicken for Micah Parsons.
So here's the thing, right? The pressures are going to stand out. I can't wait to go back and rewatch this. I'm so geeked up because I thought for the most part he was good. You only saw him when you saw him. That's how I would put it. So those other snaps I got to go back and look at the time of possession numbers real quick.
Well, you only saw him really 4 times.
You know what I'm saying? So I thought New York, for as abysmal as they were offensively, actually kind of did an okay job keeping the ball away from Washington. It felt like, especially in that second half when the Commanders couldn't get anything going. But I thought overall, like, Connolly was pretty damn good.
Yeah, so the time of possession that you're looking for, it was 30 minutes and 32 seconds compared to 29 minutes and 28 seconds, with the Giants having the advantage. Yeah. So they held the ball longer than Washington did, and they just couldn't do anything with it. They put together long, sustained drives, and then Washington got them off the field. No turnovers for Washington, unless you want to count 4th down conversions and miscues as turnovers. No turnovers, although they should have had one on that Quan Martin interception.
Yeah, and dude, Russell Wilson will need several ice baths after that one, man. It is super interesting, just the way that this thing is gone. We want to get to some game balls here. We can clip that if we want to get some game balls out here.
Yeah, let's get to some game balls. If you're with us in the chat, give us a player that you want to give a game ball to. We will read some of these responses once we are done giving our game balls away. Linnell, I will let you start. Who are you giving a game ball? We can give 3 out if you want to give 3 out.
I was going to stand up, but I will be out of the frame. But big fella, we got to tag him on our page. Javon Kinlaw, 3 years, $45 million. I was on air the day that you signed that contract, and people were complaining and moaning and groaning. You're only like the 23rd highest paid D tackle in the league. You should be paid more, young man. 27 years of age, just scratching the surface. He was awesome, bro. Washington's run defense looks markedly better, and he was a big reason.
Game ball number 1 for me, it was his partner in crime. Deron Payne gets a game ball for Washington. He was excellent. This was like vintage Deron Payne. He was breaking through the line of scrimmage. He was sacking Russell Wilson. He was making plays with his hands. He was getting some TFLs, and if he wasn't getting a TFL, he was wreaking havoc to allow somebody else to get a TFL. I thought Deron Payne, this was the best game that we have seen from him in quite some time.
Yeah, for sure, bro. And the thing is, he stood out more to me being strong and holding the point of attack against the run.
Yeah.
I want to get a whole D-line room, that whole entire interior D-line.
I mean, Dorrance Armstrong was really, really good. Dietrich Wise made some big plays. Didn't see a lot of Von Miller, but all these other guys made a lot of really, really... Even Jacob Martin was getting in on the playmaking.
Yeah. Came in off the edge one time, wham! Whacked somebody, bro. I was really, really impressed by the way that entire front four played. They took it personal. When you're playing defensive line, man, it's a real-life fight. You're really out there punching, throwing hands. It gets nasty, bro. But I thought Kinlaw was awesome. My second game ball, and I sent out a tweet that I put a bunch of stars next to. It was Will Harris, man. Will Harris coming over and playing with just a reckless abandon. And someone tweeted that, I think it was Road Chaser, was like, he's looser than Jeremy Chin. And, Road, you know, I knew exactly what you meant by that. He's just a more fluid athlete. You saw him come down, make big plays, make big hits. I thought he was pretty damn good in coverage. Joe Witt Jr. talks about this, and sometimes people will roll their eyes because we heard Ron and them stress communication. They really communicated well in the back end today. You can see guys doing all their little hand checks and movements.
Especially with some of the way they were defending Malik Neighbors.
Yes.
Because they defended Malik Neighbors in a very similar way to how Atlanta defended Terry last year at the end of the year, where there was always going to be help over the top. You were not going to get a lot of scenarios where Malik Neighbors was one-on-one. Now, the Giants took advantage when he was one-on-one, but you were just not going to get a lot of those scenarios. I'm going to give my first game ball to somebody on the offense. I'm going to give it to Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
I mean, shocker. I know,
Right.
but the guy was excellent. In his debut in Washington, a guy that this offseason was called fat, a guy that this offseason was called washed. Washington was criticized by some nationally for going and getting Deebo Samuel because there was no more tread on the tires. The tank was empty. All of the things that you could describe to describe him negatively were said about him, and he was the complete opposite today. He made some big-time catches. Sure, there were some that you wish that he would have had, but he made some big-time catches, and they utilized him in the run game to the point where he scored what was the game-ending touchdown, the game-sealing touchdown. And he didn't just score that touchdown, Linnell. Athleticism, dive in for the pylon. He was making sure that I am getting that touchdown. So Deebo Samuel is absolutely getting a game ball for me.
Yeah, he 100% deserves it. We were talking about it, or I think we may have mentioned it right at the start here. Jaden getting people lined up right before the play. Terry wasn't ready to go. But then when the play is snapped, they didn't show the replay. They kept showing Deebo extending for the pylon. That left side, the way that the holes opened up, I don't know if it's Tunsil. I thought it was like Tunsil, Coleman, and Bates. But I got to go back and watch it. Whoever the receiver was on that side, bravo, man. I expect to see a hell of a lot more of that throughout the course of the regular season.
I mean, it was so much fun to see them utilize Deebo. And, like, the nice thing is this is only the start of it. Eventually, when he gets more comfortable, when Terry gets more comfortable. Terry was not spectacular today. He had 2 catches for 27 yards. Jaden wasn't even looking his direction for a lot of the plays in the second half. That'll change over time. It was kind of the same way this time last year. But Deebo, I thought, was excellent. And then you mentioned him. I'm giving a game ball to Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah.
Laramie Tunsil solidified that left side. He was really, really good. We were told when he got traded for it, he's not the greatest when it comes to discipline, and he's not the greatest in the run game. He was really good in the run game, and there were no penalties on Laramie Tunsil today. So I really thought that Laramie Tunsil was really, really impressive, so I'm giving him a game ball.
The one area where I'll be, I guess, overly critical of LT, and I know he's going to say the same because he's a guy that wants to be an all-pro, did give up a sack today. Got beat on the inside move by like a no-name defensive lineman. Just want to see him be a little bit better there, but I thought, to your point, without the penalties, he was damn good. That's the only piece of his game where I'll go, he gave up a sack. But I thought the O-line as a whole, like we've been talking about, just played really, really well, man. They were solid. I thought, you know, they moved well in terms of like moving guys off of the football. I thought it was really good, man. I
got a question for you. This is a question in the chat as well. You can chime in, join us. We're going to be interactive here. We'll go over your game balls through the chat in a second. A lot of Deebo in there, a lot of Deron Payne in there from the chat, which we appreciate. Is the Commanders' defensive line that we have raved about, are they good or do the Giants just suck?
I think they're good. Remember I said it? This was their most consistent group during camp. You felt them from a pass rushing standpoint. Obviously, it's hard in camp to judge their ability to stop the run. But I'm about to go back on my Twitter and find it right now. Like, I felt like that was something that we said a lot throughout the course of training camp is you feel this defensive front. I thought you felt them today. Now, to your credit, their offensive line is buns. I could probably get some snaps on the Giants' offensive line.
Not a great offense. I mean, Russell Wilson, I hope his life insurance was good because he was running for his life.
And if you're thinking that it's going to be this easy coming up on Thursday, got another thing coming because the Packers, quite literally, one of the best offensive lines in football.
We're going to be paying attention to that game. They got the Detroit Lions, which is my defensive player of the year, Aiden Hutchinson. So we're going to be interested in to see how that one ends up going here. I'm in a little bit of agreement with you. I think the defensive line was really, really good. I just think it's tough to judge them based off of a team of the Giants that are not good. Yeah, they're going to stick to Russell Wilson. This is prototypical, right? You stick to your guy for like 4 or 5 weeks, and then when he has a bad game, you put the rookie in there. Eventually, Brian Dable, who I don't think is. There's something about him that rubs me the wrong way. I don't know what it is. There's something about him that rubs me the wrong way. He's going to try and cling on to Jackson Dart for his life. They're not going to put him in today. I don't know that would have made much of a difference, but I don't think the Giants' offensive line is like a great benchmark to decide whether or not the Commanders are good.
Yeah, I think that's a fair take, honestly, bro. And I think we're all going to be excited about what we saw this afternoon. But the thing that I like the most is them being strong against the double teams. Like, that to me was super awesome. One way to beat double team is if you're quick off the football enough to where you split it. Saw Kinlaw do that a couple of times. What I like, too, is think about how many dudes played today. It was Von Miller, Jacob Martin, Kinlaw, Goldman, Armstrong. They went about 8 deep, it felt like, with this group, and I thought they all did a really good job. I said it during the pregame show. How was Washington's defense going to respond to those snaps in which Payne and Kinlaw weren't on the field? Eddie Goldman, another local cat, proud of D.C., played your tail off, brother, man. Like that, I have no complaints because if they're going to play defense anywhere close to that, and look, I get it, it's the Giants, they're terrible, they won 3 games last year. But if you're going to get that type of play playing the run, you're going to have a chance to beat anybody, bro. I really do believe that.
Right, I'm in a total agreement with you on that. Yeah, I got caught off by that too. I'm in total agreement with you. Now, one of the guys in our chat, Jay Plott, makes a really good point here. Yeah. If they put Jackson Dart in, Jackson Dart would have been eviscerated. He would have been killed. He would not. I don't know that he knows how to set protections, especially one of the things I loved. Yeah. And this was like a little nuance. I thought they kind of did something like this on the beginning of last year. I loved on the third downs in the beginning of the game where everybody's standing. And Russell Wilson just has to be like, all right, no lineman is down. Where is the pressure going to come from? Duran's standing, Kinlaw was standing, and you like, look, man, if you're under center and Javon Kinlaw is standing over you, you're David and he's Goliath. Yeah. Like he's a massive human being. That was like a little element in the first half that I thought worked really well in favor of Washington. So I love that. It's a nuanced thing. They're not going to do it every single third down, obviously, but I love adding some confusion into the game plan, and I think that really impacted Russell Wilson. Yeah,
it did, man. And they was without Andrew Thomas. First of all, they're already a terrible offensive line.
Yeah, they're not good.
So not having Andrew Thomas is big. Monsters in my I hope there are no monsters in your backpack. Monsters in your backpack. But our monsters in my backpack. But he's talking about Joe Witt Jr. Yes, the game plan. They blitzed. They were sending 5 and 6. But I don't know who's in charge of calling these. Then if it's Witt or if it's Daryl Tapp, the D-line coach, the stunts that they ran up front, like you were just mentioning, man. Yeah. It's especially when you win on first and second down and you're in third and long. The stunts are endless, man. You're running 3-man stunts, 2-man stunts, and I think a couple of times they messed up when it comes to the stunts, and that's where you were able to see Russell Wilson scramble and get some yards. But I thought for the most part, man, they were really, really good up front. Really good up front. To where, like, that's going to be my talking point probably the whole week, brother. Yeah. Like, they dominated.
They really, really did. For Jaden, here's the game by the numbers, by the way, statistically. Jaden Daniels, 19 of 30 for 233 yards and a touchdown. He was sacked 3 times for a loss of 21 yards. He also added 71 yards rushing. I gave the prop out of 15 and a half yards being his longest rush. His longest rush was 14 yards. That final
tough.
run play, I thought he was going to get 16. He gets 14 yards. It's neither here nor there. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt was the leading rusher with 82 yards on 10 carries. That's 8.2 a pop. That 42-yard run for him obviously boosted those numbers tremendously. But that 42-yard run was the longest run that we've seen from a Commander running back in a long time. Brian Robinson never achieved that mark in 3 years here. His longest run was 40 yards. He did it twice last year, once against the Giants, and the Titans was the other one. But Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt getting a 42-yard bop on his first game as, one, an NFL player, but then in the first game in the absence of Brian Robinson was incredibly impressive. And then Deebo Samuel, 7 catches for 77 yards. He also had a rushing touchdown. It was a 25 or 19-yard rushing touchdown for Deebo Samuel. After Deebo Samuel, though, on the receiving charts, there's a big-time drop-off because the next guy on the box score is Chris Moore, who caught one pass in the very beginning of the game for 34 yards. And then you get Austin Eckler for 31, Noah Brown for 27, Terry for 27. So really not a lot of help on the offense for Deebo. Like, I want to see Terry graduate back into the upper echelon of the box score. And it felt like in the second half, they just were not looking in the direction of 17.
I feel like if you were to rewind us to like October, we were saying these exact same things, and like it's part of the reason why folks that were not in favor of paying Terry the big money, days like today come up. I think this is going to be something that happens, throughout the course of the regular season several different times. And Jaden Daniels told you, what did he speak on Wednesday?
Yeah.
I'm not forcing the football to anybody. That's not who I am. Coverage dictates where this thing goes, and I think if you're Cliff, you can move Terry into some more advantageous situations, but ultimately coverage dictates where he goes. I thought the double move that he ran where Jayden missed him, I mean, that's Terry.
That's Terry.
That's like no corner in the NFL would have been able to run with him on that, man. The way that he
Right.
got in and out of the break, man, he's awesome.
It was a
I'm not
beautiful
worried at all.
route. He gave Jaden space to hit him, and then he just missed him. I do think if they connect on that, he scores.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw him a lot last year, kind of get run down. He scores if he catches that ball. I'm not going to overreact to the Terry thing. Yeah, I'm perfectly confident that against Green Bay, he'll be much more focal point of the game plan, and as the season progresses, he will be much more of a focal point in the game plan. So I'm not tripping on the Terry stuff. I just would have wished, and it was very apparent that they were not going in his direction when they probably should have been.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes moving forward. I'll say this. Next week, I mean, obviously the pass rush you're going to have to worry about with Micah and them boys up front, but their secondary, pretty unheralded group of dudes is how I would describe it. So I think the receiving corps should have the advantage next week as well. But overall, man, as far as the offense goes, a lot of what I expected. I knew it wasn't going to be perfect. I said it during the pregame show. They just haven't had a lot of time on task together. And it ultimately came to fruition here in this football game. But I do think there were some clear bright spots, as you've mentioned.
Yeah, and once some of those things get cleaned up, again, Jaden has a couple of passes that are maybe a little bit behind, maybe a little bit too far ahead. If all of those passes are completed, they hang 40 on the Giants. The offense is very much in their infancy stage in 2025 when they are fully flourished out here. This is going to be a tough offense to stop. You got a running back that can make cuts and has great vision, which they did not have last year. And you have multiple threats on the outside with Terry and Deebo. Once Terry is back in football shape, and Noah Brown, and then the potential of Jalen Lane. He only caught one pass today, but the potential of Jalen Lane and Zach Ertz. We're like 30 minutes into this postgame show. We haven't talked about Zach Ertz. He was on the receiving end of that first touchdown, and that first touchdown,
a couple drops, but
that looked a lot like that Atlanta touchdown, didn't it?
100%.
Yeah,
I think it may have been low key the exact same play. Him stemming to the outside, trying to get people to follow him, and he cuts back inside. Tom Brady described him as slick throughout the ball game at times, man. For him, we was mentioning it because they've talked about it this summer. He looks more twitched up than he did last year. And if you're going to get throwback Zach Ertz, like this offense, I made a prediction that they would win the Triple Crown this year. Time of possession, points per game, and then yards per game. I know they weren't, completely, on point today, but you can see the glimpses and the flashes of how strong they could be.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that, and that is the biggest takeaway I think from the game. It was not the prettiest game in the world. The penalties were killer, and against good teams you cannot have that. But there's a lot of reason to be optimistic and hopeful as you push forward here. One thing I also want to discuss here, we're kind of done giving game balls away, but I'm going to give one final game ball away, Linnell. I'm giving it, this is so corny. This is so corny. I'm going to sound like a cornball. I apologize. The fan base was fantastic today.
Yeah.
I mean, multiple chants of Terry, multiple chants of Debo, and then what struck me, I was texting back and forth with my dad, and when Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt scored that touchdown, I texted my dad, and it was just Bill in all caps, and he didn't understand the reference. He didn't know that was Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt's nickname. Everyone in the arena was chanting Bill when he had that huge run. So like that's a level of locked in that we have not seen in this particular fan base. You know what else I didn't see a lot of? I didn't see a lot of blue in the fan base. And in an NFC East game in the past, generally speaking, it's like 60-40 maybe, but sometimes that 60 is the opposition. The fan base is back and they are bought in. I was really impressed with the way that everybody showed out, especially because at the beginning of the day today, it was not a nice day. No. It was rainy, it was kind of cold, all things considered, and the fan base did not care. This fan base is back, man. This is what happens when you have a quarterback and a competent owner. It really is a luxury.
Yeah, I thought they were awesome. You heard them all throughout the game, especially when they were on defense and you felt the D-line swarming after Russell Wilson. They were definitely geeked up for that all afternoon long. This is going to be the new norm, though, man. I think the Atlanta game last year on Sunday Night Football, talking to folks that go to games regularly, it was the season finale, or the home finale, rather.
Right.
But it was the best environment that they said they had been to all year. You had the light show. Now I think carrying that over into this year, man, people are geeked up. It's a super hard ticket to get all of a sudden, right after years of there being excess tickets and things of that nature, bro. So I'm super duper happy what you said about the fans, totally. And I think at some point Washington is going to be a real difficult place to play.
It's going to be like that. That excites me because in our lifetime, you're what, 26,
27,
27. I am 30. We have not really, a little bit in 2012 where there was like the fan base mattered. There has not been a lot of that in recent memory, so the fact that we are treading towards that direction is really, really insightful, really, really good. They were booing the refs when the refs needed to be booed, and I thought the refs were not all that good today.
It's week one for them, too.
It's week one for them, too, but they need to be better. They literally have one job, just be correct. And I didn't think they did the best job in the world, but some of that is also on Washington. You just have to be more disciplined in some of the penalties. I'm going to die on this hill, Linnell.
Yeah.
I did not like the roughing the passer on Bobby Wagner.
It's just the rule's stupid.
The rule I don't think is. I think you need to see forcible contact to the head to just act as if you cannot touch the head in any capacity. There's a reason that there are helmets. Like you are.
I thought Quan was going to get hit.
I thought Quan was too. Yeah. But like Bobby Wagner, he was like on the face, but there was no hitting. There really wasn't a pushing. Like he was just on the face. It's not even like Russell Wilson's neck moved. And I was like, how do you call that if his neck doesn't move? So I didn't love that one, and it robbed Quan of an interception. I was kind of bummed that the defense didn't have any turnovers. But Russell Wilson, in his credit, he does not turn the ball over.
No, he doesn't. But he was damn close. I mean, I guess they wish he would have turned it over. 17-37, brother. Like that's a very bad look. It's so crazy because I think Washington may have had the best defensive performance of anyone in week one, not named the Colts. And the Colts even gave up more than 6, even though Miami was awful today. So entering week 2, Washington's probably going to be named the best defense in the National Football League statistically, man. And I can't wait to look at the next gen stats for pressures and things of that nature like Russell's. He needs an ice bath. And Sierra, give him a good massage. He'll be all right. But damn, shout out to D-line, man. Like I can't. That's going to be my thing all week. This D-line was on one this afternoon, man.
Yeah, Russell Wilson had 44 yards rushing. Tyrone Tracy had 24.
Yeah.
I don't know why they stopped giving it to Cam Scatterbo. I mean, the guys, you heard what Luvu said on the broadcast, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he looked at him after he got trucked for the 4th time. Not a great Frankie Luvu game, by the way. He wasn't excellent. There were a bunch of guys that were good on defense. Frankie Luvu did not have his best game. He's like, you're a big MFer, dude.
Yeah.
And Cam Scatterbo is very much a big MFer in every dictionary definition of the world. He just wants to hit people. Yeah. And he just wants to lower the shoulder and decleat people.
I'm curious to see, moving forward for New York, are they going to use him more? But I thought, you mentioned it wasn't a good Frankie Louvu day. He had the missed tackle in space. I think it was either against Wandale Robinson or Tyrone Tracy. I thought the missed tackles would be more of a thing that stood out, just dating back to last year, that Tampa game, they didn't tackle well. They didn't tackle well against the Giants in week 2. So attaboy to the defense, tackling well, too. In the secondary, they were good. I thought everyone played really well. The penalties, like you said, though, probably the big story for me, but it gives them something to coach up, because other than that, you were damn near flawless.
Damn near.
Yeah.
I love the blitzing, too. I'm curious to see how the
Yeah.
blitzing and the designs that they use blitz-wise are going to change and evolve and, hopefully get better throughout
Right.
the course of the season, because it's very clear that Joe Witt loves this group more than he loved last year.
100%. They
Last
blitzed.
year just was, it just wasn't it.
And they blitzed a lot last year. I know Brian Flores in Minnesota gets credit for being the most blitz-heavy guy. Washington was, sixth highest rather in blitz percentage in the NFL. And then on second down, they blitzed more than any team in the NFL by a wide margin. So they got it, man. They got it.
21-6 the final. Washington wins. They are now 1-0 on the year. All right, let's look through some of the chat here. I know a bunch of people were giving out some game balls. People are now looking forward to Micah Parsons. Don't look forward to Micah Parsons yet. Give us some game balls. I know a bunch of people said that Debo Samuel is going to be a recipient of a game ball. I know a bunch of people said that that Debo is going to be a recipient of the game ball. I'm trying to see if there's anyone that that said someone other. Mike Jones mentioned how Tom Brady said glazing on live television. I must have missed that. Did he say glazing?
He did.
Tom Brady's too old to be saying the word glazing.
I know. But
I'm
yeah.
too old to be saying the word glazing. I'm 30. Tom Brady has almost double my age.
Yeah. I mean, look.
Avocado ice cream be damned, son.
It's one of them things, though, where he actually wasn't as annoying today on the broadcast as I thought he would be. He sounded
I actually
improved.
thought he was fine.
Did you hear him call Igbajini? Or he said,
God,
that
I
was
mean,
horrible.
look, man.
That was
if
so
you're
bad.
Burkhardt, you gotta give him a lifeline.
Yeah.
He tried 3 times, and then he's like, I'm bad with 5 syllable now. I was like, how do you not pronounce his name right?
I know.
But you immediately know how many syllables it is.
Yeah, I was stunned by that. But Noah Hyde, to his credit, came in and played okay. I think the game plan from Joe Witt Jr., forcing the football to go to other places by double teaming Malik Neighbors, was awesome. So shout out to Coach Witt for drawing that up. I can say things all day about the defense. Mikey, I thought, was good playing the run as well as playing through the football, playing through the whistle. Saw a couple of balls get dislodged at the last second. Thought Marshawn Lattimore, for the most part, ran well. Had a couple penalties, and then the body slam joint. I thought immediately back to what you said on the pregame. What are you doing?
I was like, maybe don't be flipping the hips. You see Brock Lesnar back, you're like, I want to go to Suplex City. Don't be suplexing. It is kind of weird though, because sometimes they call that and other times they don't call that. Yeah. I distinctly remember last year, 2 years ago, I forget when it was, but I remember a Commanders player getting suplex in the exact same fashion, and then just nothing came of it. You're like, how do you? If you're gonna call it one way, you got to call it the other way too.
I definitely agree with you, man. It's tough. You know how it rolls, especially with us. But I think as we get more respect and continue to win games, maybe we'll be on the right side of some bad calls. Because I felt like every bad call today was against us.
Every single one.
All of them.
Every single one. And they got away with some too. Like there was a face mask that wasn't called.
Yeah, on Noah
Eye.
Yeah.
So they got away with some as well. But I did not think. It felt like all of the bad calls and all of the big play erasing calls were going in the direction of the Commanders. Matthew F. says he would trade Lattimore for a hot dog. That better be a damn good hot dog. I don't love hot dogs that much. I would.
He
keep
wasn't
Marshawn
bad,
Lattimore.
man. He
would.
wasn't bad. Oh my gosh,
he won
yes.
his matchups against Malik Neighbors.
He majestic undone. Can't say enough about Austin Eckler. Yeah, dude, get him more touches too. Like he's one of them dudes I know they just want to preserve and make sure that he makes it throughout the course of the regular season. But you saw it on that last play that he had. Bip, spin move, bounce it off people. He is literally like a bowling ball. That's wrong. A pinball, sorry. Like, just the way that he's able to absorb contact.
Both, honestly. The way he was trucking. And that final play where he had, like, the massive gain, where he jumps, and then because the guy hits him low, he actually keeps him up. I mean, the low center of gravity, shout out to all the short kings out there. Low center of gravity really helped him there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. He was good. And I thought the rotation of running backs was interesting how they used them. Like, they went 3 series at a time, it felt like at first. I think Eckler got like the first 4 series, and you saw Bill for 3 or 4 series. I thought it was interesting that they chose Bill as like the closer. Can't say that I'm too surprised with that. You saw that end of half 2-minute situation, Jeremy McNichols, because of the ability to hold up really well in pass pro. You want to put him out there. I thought it was Really, really fun to watch this group on both phases. One negative thing we do got to talk about too. Ben Sinnott, brother, almost one punt was blocked because of you. Almost got 2 or 3 punts blocked because of Ben Sinnott. So got to be better in that area. Nick Ballore.
I really thought Sinnott was going to be a guy on
Dude,
offense.
Colson
a guy on
Yankoff
special teams.
got a snap today, bro. Colson Yankoff ran up the seam.
Bro, yank me off.
Yeah, seriously.
Yank me off. I
I'm
need
ready
some
for
Colson Yankoff on the offense. I need a lot more of him than Ben Sinnott. I really thought he was going to be a dude. I really did. You're right, though.
Yeah.
Nick Vallore's a heat-seeking missile.
Dude.
Oh, my
36
God.
and banging.
You got to understand, as a punt returner, generally, you don't want to leave your feet. You got to read the game plan. You got to watch the film, because surely somebody knew that there's a heat-seeking missile on special teams for Washington. If you know that Nick Ballore is coming with a full head of steam, my brother in Christ, stay on the ground. God ain't helping you if you come off your feet, because Nick Ballore ain't stopping. No. The fact that he held on to that ball, whoever the punt returner is, some white dude for the Giants, the fact that he hung on to the ball was actually miraculous, because Ballore decleated him.
Yeah, I think it was Gunnar Olszewski, something like that. Yeah, I loved it though, dude. I thought he played well. I thought he played really well.
I mean, this is I loved what I saw from him. He's been like a special teams guru.
Yeah, we actually saw a mistake from Jaden Daniels too. Just thinking of things that popped in my head. Him at the end of the half did not execute very well. Had the intentional grounding that caused the clock to run off, so they weren't able to get a field goal attempt in. But other than that, like, how would you? Let's kind of move on to him real quick while we got a chance to really put the quarterback under the microscope. How would you assess the way he played? Because I thought, here's the thing, and it's going to rub people the wrong way. We got to start evaluating him. We're calling him a top 5 cat. Let's evaluate him like a top 5 quarterback. He missed some throws today. There were throws that were behind guys.
I was about to say, what you just said, I was about to say, if you're evaluating him as a second-year quarterback, he played fine.
Yes.
If you're evaluating him as a top 5 quarterback, this was not the greatest game in the world. But at the same time, I thought he definitely played better than Joe Burrow did today. Joe Burrow was getting destroyed by the Cleveland defense. He's a top 5 quarterback. You know, we'll see what Lamar and Josh Allen do on Sunday Night Football, but I thought he played better than Patrick Mahomes did on Friday. So he still played better than some of the guys that are also top 5 quarterbacks, but because we now hold him on this pedestal of you're a top 5 quarterback, you're better than Jalen Hurts, which he was today. You're better than all these guys. Oh my God, Bryce Young, jeez Louise. You're better than all these other guys. You got to play it. He still played well. There at no point did I feel like he was going to put the ball in harm's way, which is great. That's what you want. But he just missed some opportunities, and those missed opportunities left points on the field.
Yeah, for sure. Wasn't perfect, but I think overall there's a lot to build on. He looked like a cat that hadn't thrown any passes in a real game all preseason.
Yeah. And you had mentioned that at the pregame show today, which we're live 2 hours before the game on radio and YouTube. This is just a YouTube exclusive. I saw someone was joning us because we're not taking commercial breaks. We don't have commercial breaks. They didn't give us commercial breaks. If you want to give us commercial breaks, hit me up on Twitter. We can talk some ads. Let's make some money while we can, right? But you mentioned this on pregame.
Yeah.
He didn't throw any passes, and it kind of looked like it.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Think about last year, the number one trait we talked about with him. Ball placement, accuracy, right? When Dak Ertz is running on a crosser, he's got to go like this. The ball's got to be in a better spot.
Ball got to be in a
like
better
point
place.
blank. Even the Terry Jones, a bomb downfield. Dayton was saying to himself, "Keep running." I don't know who's really to blame for that, but there were a couple other balls too where the ball's just behind guys. His first pass attempt almost got picked. Cordell Flott undercut it on the attempt that Debo could have got picked off there.
It was a great play by Debo, too.
For sure. But, yeah, to break it up.
Yeah.
But Jaden, if I had to give him a grade, B+ performance today from the quarterback.
Better grade than I said B.
Yeah.
I'd say
it B?
A B performance from Jaden Daniels, because we expect so much more from him.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a bad thing. Like,
I'm giving him a little extra credit, too.
Your boy would have loved a B.
Oh, for sure.
I would love a B. You know what I mean?
I would have taken a B back in the day, but I want to give him a little bit of extra credit to stay on the grade standpoint there. Getting guys lined up the way that he was able to, not having to burn. You would have had to burn one more timeout if you wouldn't have let him kind of just orchestrate things.
Right.
I thought he seemed very much in control. I thought protecting himself, he gets extra credit for that. And then the running is like a real thing with him. he's got this innate feel as a traditional pocket passer as to when to attack the line of scrimmage. I don't think there's any, drop back quarterback that threatens the line of scrimmage more as a scrambler than he does. I think him and Lamar are in a class of their own.
Yeah.
I would even say Jaden's a step ahead as the best scrambling quarterback in football.
His vision is immaculate,
Yeah.
and the way that he protected himself
Yes.
today. The first two scrambles, one of them was a designed run. So the first two runs, I would say, for Jaden, he put himself in a little bit of harm's way. That first one, he kind of twisted weird.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no. Please, we don't need this. I don't want this. The second one, he got hit. But outside of that, he did a really good job making sure that nobody made contact with him, and that's a big win.
Yeah, for sure. I was pretty big fan of how he played. It's just good seeing him go to work. I guess is the best way that I can put it, man. We got a real legit dude under center as a signal caller. Remember he called his own number. I think he said, Nacho, Nacho. And then he runs into the back of Nick Allegretti and then bounces off of a defender.
I thought he said Escobar.
Or, yeah, sorry. I'm saying Nacho. Escobar. He
Because
did say Escobar.
I'm watching it, right? And I don't know if, the microphones for Fox, if you were watching this at home, let me know. Maybe it was just our television. But if it sounded like the microphones for Fox were picking up everything
I loved it.
on the field, I loved it too. But he said Escobar, and I'm like, oh, he's going to smuggle it. And then he snaps and he goes, and he basically takes it himself. And I was like, oh, no, that's literally what the call is.
Yeah. I got Peter Alexander says, give JD5 a B, held the ball too long at times. Yeah, some of the pressures that he did receive was a byproduct of him holding on to it too long.
That'll change when Terry's in game shape. Because he wasn't getting great separation.
Yeah.
Debo at times wasn't getting great separation. But I think the holding of the ball stuff, I was glad that he knew it too. If we're gonna take moral victories with that, when he got sacked, he knew he's like, I gotta get rid of the ball. I gotta.
He is the most accountable dude ever. Love that about him. But other overall, man, just grading the offense, crunching the numbers and looking at the drive chart in the second half, that's probably, if I'm looking for a spot to be overly critical, and that's obviously not the goal, but when you look at the drive chart here in the second half, really, if you take into account the way that they didn't get a field goal at the end of the half, no points on that drive. No points on your first drive offensively. 5 plays, 20 yards. 4 yards, 19 yards. 4 plays, 10 yards. You damn near went 3 and out every drive in the second half. Yeah. So, you got to be a little bit better than that. They went on a 1, 2, 3, 4 possession streak where they had no points. And we're just not accustomed to seeing that from this group.
Yeah, Tress-Way punted 5 times.
I want to make sure Tress-Way is healthy, too. That's the one thing. Matthew F. says Connerly did not look good. It's just really hard to me when you think about how many dropbacks there were. You're going to have some plays where you get beat, especially when you're a rookie and Josh Connerly playing right tackle for the first time ever in his career. The other thing is this, we mentioned it earlier, Denton. Cliff Kingsbury, stop leaving him on an island.
Yeah.
Stop. Help him out. And I know it hurts the offense because there's not as many dudes in a pattern, but Cliff got to help him out too.
Yeah, Cliff needs to help him out because that also gives Jaden another target. Because if you are going to chip, right, and you chip and now you're just running a flat route or something that's more of the short variety, not intermediate, not down the field. Well, if Jaden needs to step up and scramble, it feels like a lot of the guys on this roster, Debo's a great example of this. We saw this. Really good at backyard football. You see your quarterback moving, let me just get to an open spot where he can see me. Yeah. You coach this at football at the very, very youngest levels. If you see your quarterback on the move, but his eyes are up, get to a position where you can see the quarterback and he can see you. And I feel like a lot of the guys on the offense are really good at that element of it because it would suck if you have this guy in Jaden that can do all the things that he can do and then no one plays backyard football. Like one of Debo's biggest catches was him realizing Jaden is scrambling, but his eyes are up. Let me find a soft spot in the defense. He found it, and it's a pickup of, I think it was 14 yards.
Yeah, and I think when you, like you said, when you're playing, they actually work on scramble drill stuff in practice too. Yeah. So, wink, wink. That's why they're good at certain situations because they practice it, guys. I really love what you described about the scramble drill because it took some time for them to get there. Last year, there were times where it's like they were getting used to playing with a guy of his ability. The play is damn near never over when it comes to a cat like him, and I think he showed that here this afternoon. Going back to the grade for Jaden, can we ask people to type that in the chat?
Yeah.
The grade for Jaden Daniels here, and the way that he played earlier today, I'm gonna give him. You're saying a B, Denton?
I'm grading Jaden as a B, and I'm grading him on the scale of him being a top 5 quarterback. Yes. There were some There were some misses. He was always in control. I never felt like he was out of control. And there were some misses. There was a few bad sacks, but you still did enough to win the game and win the game comfortably. So I'm going to give him a B as a grade for today.
Yeah, I see a lot of Matthew F, B minus, Brett Fresky, B, Clementine, A minus, fan. Monsters in my backpack, B plus. I'm going to go with B plus. That's kind of the way I would describe it. I'm going to be a little bit, kinder than you, Professor Day. Just because I thought his command of the offense, no pun intended, right? Getting guys lined up.
Command.
You know what I'm saying? Getting guys lined up, so on and so forth. On the Debo touchdown, we keep going back to it. If he doesn't, and this is Terry, bro,
Yeah.
a 7-8 year vet, and Jaden's in his ass saying, get lined up, get lined up. We've heard all offseason about how he's improved as a leader. I give him extra bonus credit for that. Ding him for the ball placement. If there's anything I'm really going to be critical of, is that. But I thought he was pretty damn good for the most part. He'll get better next week, I think.
So we got Pop George as a C plus. That's really grading him on like a top level scale. Because again, if you're just grading him as a second year quarterback, he played fine. He played really, really well. Mike Jones says that he's going to give him a C. I do find it to be a little ironic that if you think of one of the most memorable plays of last year, it was the play to Terry, right,
Yes.
in that Cincinnati game. And he's yelling at Zach Ertz and he's yelling at Luke McCaffrey, shut up, get set.
Yeah.
And then you flip it, not a full year, but almost a year later, and Terry is now on the receiving end of Jane Daniels being like, shut up and get set. Just stand there. We are going to score.
Yes.
And then they snap the ball and they go on and they score.
That's like him becoming a real leader, and we've heard that all offseason. That's the thing. They don't cap about certain things over there in that building. They may have lied about Chris Rodriguez. They weren't lying about Jayden Daniels taking a step forward as a leader. You saw it on full display all throughout the game. There was one other thing, too, where it didn't work. When Zach Ertz had that fourth down drop, Jayden and Ertz saying, get to the line, spike it. I mean, get to the line so we can run a play. That was him doing that. There was another play, too. Oh, right before the end of the third quarter. He goes, hurry up, let's try to get them to jump off sides. Like, that's little stuff that a second-year quarterback, like, you want to see that because he's got a veteran mind, up top.
The refs bailed them out on that.
On what?
I thought New York jumped.
I
thought at the end of the
quarter?
I'm glad you brought that. I thought at the end of the third quarter, when Jaden is hard counting, I thought there was somebody that jumped, and the ref was like, the quarter's over.
It's over, who cares?
Who cares?
I hear
We're not
that.
going to give it to him. But I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot about that. I put that as a note down that I wanted to discuss. I love the fact that he was always trying to get extra yards.
Yeah.
Like, he is kind of maniacal with that a little bit, and I'm sure Tom Brady
Scares the hell out of you.
Yeah, Tom Brady is just like smiling ear to ear, I'm sure, because it's like that is like genius level, high football IQ level stuff. And whatever you want to say about his placement today, his football IQ is off the charts.
Yes.
Like, Jaden Daniels loves football. He loves football. He studies football. Life is football for him. His IQ is off the charts. I love that little element of it.
Jay Plott says his knife is rusty, but it still will cut. I think that's like a perfect way to describe the way he looked this afternoon. Even to call it rusty, I feel like, I don't know. I'm going to say rusty. It's just so hard because I don't want to be overly critical because I want to jump on my ass, but like the ball placement stuff.
He still played really well.
He still played really well, but the ball placement stuff, like, this is what I'll say about all the mistakes Washington made today. With the mistakes that Washington made today, it's week one, so you accept it. When you play better teams, guys, the margin for error becomes so much smaller. So Thursday night against Green Bay, the penalty stuff got to get cleaned up. Jaden's got to be better from a ball placement standpoint. That's just me being objective about it. But overall, like we said, I give him a B+. I give the team a B+ performance on the afternoon as well. I thought it was a good game, but when the competition ratchets up, the margin for error definitely gets smaller.
Jack Miller brings up a great point.
Yeah.
Why did Jaden get a grounding at the end of the half that caused a runoff, and Russell Wilson had a similar play and did not get a grounding? Blame the officials, bro. I don't know. I asked that same question. I looked at our producer, Ben, and I was watching the game in there with Toby, too, and I was like, why was that not a grounding?
Yeah.
Because Russ is in the pocket, and he throws the ball 1,000 miles away. There's no receiver in sight. It didn't matter. It ultimately didn't end up mattering anyway because they crushed him. But I thought, if you're just talking Jaden, he vastly outplayed Russell Wilson. Like, those two guys, Russell Wilson at some point was a great quarterback in this league. He very much is not now. And I think Jaden is far and away better now than what Russell Wilson ever was, if I'm being honest. That's probably my hottest takeaway. In the first 18, 19 games of Jaden Daniels' career, I think he's better than Russell Wilson ever was. And that was on display today.
Yeah, 100%. And here's the thing I would say, too, just to add another layer to it. This kid, by season's end, and today was just him barely scratching the surface. By season's end, I think he is going to be regarded as that top 5 guy. And I know a lot of people on their list this offseason weren't, ready to crown him that yet. There were some outlets that felt like he was the next closest guy to being in that elite upper echelon category. I think that is more true than anything today, though. A good start for him. Wasn't perfect, but it was good.
Yeah, it was really really good. Who else do you want to grade here? We're waiting for these take command guys so they can take over here. Washington wins by a score of 21-6. They're 1-0 on the year. Jaden was great. We talked a lot about Bill Krosky-Merritt. He was really good. Eckler was great. We saw a little bit of Jeremy McNichols. I actually like the fact that they utilized Jeremy McNichols at the end of the game. That rotation, I am anticipating Chris Rodriguez is going to play on Thursday. I kind of think they held him out so they had one guy that was going to be fresh, and then you plug him in on Thursday. That's chess versus checkers. So if that ends up being the case, I like the move.
I just hope Bill Merritt is able to not be in bubble wrap during practice this week because he played a real game. But he's talking about grading someone.
I think everyone's in bubble wrap this week, though.
Yeah, just because. I know certain guys aren't going to practice, some of the vets. But if it's about grading another group, the offensive line, I would give them a B+, A-, honestly. The way that they got movement in the run game, I thought was really good. Obviously, you had a couple of pressures off the edge. Laramie Tunsil got beat inside and gave up a sack. On the right side, Josh Connolly's the one that everyone's talking about in the chat, saying that he wasn't very good. I still go back and say I want to watch the tape on him because there were good plays that he had. I just think the ones that stick out, obviously, is when Jaden Daniels was getting sacked, so on and so forth. But
what do you think of Trey Amos?
People are talking about him in the chat, too. Yeah, Matthew F. says Amos can play, will only get better. I thought he was pretty good. You expect him... First of all, this is the best receivers he's ever gone up against.
Oh, yeah.
In his career to this point.
And he had seen Malik Neighbors before, but it's a different beast when Malik Neighbors is a full season in the NFL.
Exactly.
And, you're 100% right. These are the best receivers. These are, legitimate professional athletes versus, still professional athletes in the SEC, but, they had to fake going to class. But he gets to play against legitimate professional athletes, so you're 100% right there.
Yeah, I thought he was good, though, man. You saw him use some veteran tricks. If I can display on the camera here real quick, on one of the attempts to Neighbors, he's behind him on the deep ball, then he grabs the back of the jersey.
Yeah.
Ref doesn't call it. It's one of them veteran tricks of the trade, though. That's what happens when you get coached by a cheating-ass William Gay. Somebody that was a super cheater. While he was with the Steelers, I love Coach Gay. That's my guy. So I'm going to bust his chops. But dating back to the spring, Denton, they were super high on Trey Amos. And for him to play the way he played today, I thought was good. What I love, too, short memory. Right, when Emmanuel Forbes, Manny Forbes, to keep throwing you under the bus here, but anytime he gives up a catch, it's
head down.
Like
he was looking like Malik Neighbors.
You know what I'm saying?
At the time, towel on the head, maybe some waterworks on the sidelines. There's none of that with Trey Amos. Yeah, he has the swagger of a top defensive back
for sure. Someone says Lattimore will get cooked all year. The speed is gone. I think I mentioned that during the pregame about I want to see does he have the long speed. He wasn't bad. I think y'all are just looking.
Yeah, if you
at him under a microscope, I don't think he was bad at all.
This game thinking the Lattimore sucked.
I don't know what to tell you.
I've seen worse.
Right.
I've seen worse from him.
We've all seen worse, right?
Yeah, we've seen worse from him in specific. He was way worse against Tampa. He was way worse against Philly last year. He was fine, I thought, today. Malik Neighbors is going to get his. You knew that coming in.
100%.
You just had to make sure that Malik Neighbors didn't go for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns, which thankfully he did not.
Right. I think overall everyone did a good job in the secondary. Mikey, Amos, Lattimore, I thought they all played really well. Quan Martin played his tail off, too. I thought Quan was actually very, very good throughout this one. We talked about Will Harris right off the rip. Who was they talking to? Was it Albert Breer? I think when he went and did his Commanders pit stop during camp, they were raving about this secondary to him. And, when the national guys come, they try to tell the truth. They love this secondary, bro.
They love this secondary.
And for good reason.
Can they consider telling the truth to local guys, too?
I know.
Is that too much to ask for?
I know.
Hey, all these national guys get all the scoops.
I know. But they lived up to the bill, though, man. They did. You were referencing Terry, getting into game shape.
Yeah, he's not in game shape. He's just not. And we knew this was going to be the case. He needs to get more accustomed to. I am not upset at Terry for getting his money, but we knew that you missed some quality time, and some of that is like the lining up thing, where
Right.
Jaden is yelling at him, "Hey, you need to go line up, like get over there, get set, so we can get a playoff here." So some of it is just him not being around like that, but like he didn't play, he didn't practice a lot. I think he's
Yeah.
going to be fine. Week 2 is going to be tough because it's such a quick turnaround, but by the time we get to week 3, week 4, I'm sure that he's going to be fine. We know he's a great player. Except for the one guy in the chat that clearly doesn't like him that much. But outside of that, we know he's a great player.
Yeah.
He's going to be fine this year. It's just early.
Stephen Nick says you guys are drinking Adam Peters Kool-Aid on Lattimore. Hopefully they have a contingency plan.
Hey, bro, the Kool-Aid got us to an NFC Championship game last year, so I'll drink Adam Peters Kool-Aid. If you didn't like what he saw from him, give me the play that you didn't like.
I'm about to say, I thought he was. I thought he
didn't
was
give up a
good.
touchdown. Like, he suplexed one guy. I didn't love that he suplexed one guy. I mean, the professional wrestling side of me loved it because it was great form. Like, it literally was a picture-perfect suplex. You'd pin him if you were in a wrestling ring. But outside of that, it's not like he made a play where I was like, oh, my God, Marshawn Lattimore sucks. Yeah. Because this time last year, we were doing that with Michael Davis, with Benjamin St. Juste, with Emmanuel Forbes. It was like, oh, my God, these guys are running wide open, and there's no one near him because the guys can't stay with him. I didn't think Lattimore was that at all.
Yeah, just to, look at the secondary as a whole, there were some plays where the pass rush bailed him out. And that's okay. That happens all across the National Football League.
Yeah.
But there were some plays, specifically a third down, when Amos and Samer still were trying to, communicate, who goes under and who plays the slant. They miscommunicated on that, but Wise had a pressure that made, Wilson had to drop the arm slot and force him to throw the ball elsewhere. Lattimore and Igbenogany had a play over on the right sideline where they got bumped, and Lattimore was trying to run with the deep guy. Noah I just rerouted him in a poor way, and Noah I said, "My bad," and they got that fixed. There was going to be things when you go back and go through this thing with a fine-tooth comb where you say, "Okay, got to be better here, got to be better there." But it's week 1, bro. That's it. That's what happens in week 1.
All right, everybody in the chat, do you just drop a Ron Rivera fine-tooth comb line?
I still got a little riverboat in me. Look, I still got a little bit of Ron in me. But no.
Real quick, somebody asked what the longest pass play was for the Giants. It was a 25-yarder to Malik Neighbors that I believe was on. It was either on Noah I or Trey Amos. Yeah. That was not on Marshawn Lattimore. But outside of that, like Malik Neighbors had a 25-yard reception. Wandale Robinson had a 20-yard reception, and then their tight end had a 14-yard reception, and then that's it. Those are the only plays that they had that went for more than 10 yards in the receiving game. I mean, Malik Neighbors had a couple of those, but those were the longest plays that they had in the receiving game. I mean, the Washington's defense did a really good job of keeping everything in front of them and not allowing anything to beat them down the field. Because it wasn't even – I don't even know if they showed a replay of like, oh, my God, Russ missed this guy running butt naked down the field. I didn't think there was one of those at all.
Yeah. If you're just now joining us here on YouTube, Washington big winners in the season opener. If you want to drop some guys in the chat that you want to get, our observations on. I thought there was really a lot of good stuff from everybody. I don't know if there's anyone I want to put under the microscope and go, you stunk today. But if you guys want to drop some names in the chat that you want to hear us give our take on, feel free to do that. You can tweet at us as well, as you see the handles right here on the page. There's one guy that, we haven't talked a bunch about that I do want to bring up today. Thought Brandon Coleman was really good. Him and Tyler Biadasz had a combo block on Dexter Lawrence that allowed Austin Eckler run the spring. This is his first full game as a left guard after not really playing much during camp because of the injury. Didn't see him during the preseason until the finale where he actually looked pretty damn good. And then today coming out against, Dexter Lawrence, I thought he was pretty good, man. Happy to see him moving forward as well. Next week you got Rashawn Gary you got to deal with, and
Micah Parsons, and that Micah Parsons guy is pretty darn good. Some quick thoughts here, Linnell, as we wrap up our post game show. Toby Altsizer is continuing the post game coverage here on the Team 980 on radio. So if you want to listen to that, go ahead and do that. But some quick final thoughts here. Washington gets to win 21-6. It's a big win. They looked really, really comfortable, and it's a nice, comfortable win against a divisional opponent. You don't often get big-time wins early against a divisional opponent. Some things to correct, certainly, but again, and this is going to be my favorite talking point, if your best game is in week 1, you suck, and your season was a disaster. Yeah. So this was not the best game. They're going to play better games. I thought today was a really, really good win, and they're only going to get better offensively. So I was pleased with what I saw.
Steven, so I'm sorry, I read the wrong thing. It was the Burgundy Ghost. Connerly, ? I thought he did pretty well with Burns being his guy. The best way that I can describe Conley here this afternoon, you're gonna notice him when he gets beat. But other than that, I thought when you look at the whole body of work and all the snaps, if there are only 3 plays where he stands out and is bad, I guess you got to look at it in a positive direction. But moving forward, though, yeah, he's got to be better. But I keep saying this: if you're Cliff, give him some more help. Give him some more help.
Give him some more help.
That's straight up.
Yeah, straight up. All right.
Yeah.
That's going to wrap it up for us. Tweet us at NELL_BTP at The Denton Day. More post-game coverage continues on the T980 radio with Toby Altsizer. Take a man to follow whenever those dudes get set up live from the stadium. He's been Leno Willingham. I've been Denton Day. Deuces. We're back on Thursday.
Back on Thursday.